You want?
All right, sit down so I can focus on your face so we can get this thing started. This isn't just a podcast, it's video too. So.
Oof, man, that smells.
Oh my gosh! Why didn't you just leave that in there? Why did you have to bring it out here?
Do you want me, or do you just want part of me?
I don't know this. Ah!
I'm trying to give you the full experience, bro.
Okay, whatever. Dang. Okay.
Dang, bro, it still smells.
Yeah, start that camera. And we're gonna start off with that right there. You just did it again!
No, it's just lingering.
Oh, it was the chair?
It was a leaker.
Okay.
Man, you got enough cameras? What's this one doing? It's just aiming at the microphone.
Yeah. No, it's a wide angle lens, so it will definitely look alright.
You're a wide angle lens.
Alright, you're in focus, and we're starting. This just needs to be shut, and...
Alright, we got the...
So, yeah, I actually made a list of, like... I want this actually to be more structured than it usually is. Phone's on 24%, no problem. Okay, it's my testimony here. This is what it's called. I'm also kind of, like, trying to think about the people who listen.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be more entertaining with our voices than just our actions, and we're more of actions, kind of.
Okay.
You know, like...
So I gotta, like, put influxes.
Yeah, and, like, throw some dynamics in there, and, like, when you speak, you know...
Oh,
It's like that. So, this is my testimony, episode 6. Thank you for listening. I know I had that on the notes. Thank listeners and viewers. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're on YouTube. Don't look into the camera.
Which one do I look at?
You don't look into any of the cameras.
Stare into your eyes the entire time.
Yeah.
Alright.
Actually, at this count of 3, we're going to thank the viewers in this lens right here. So 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, viewers. Couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, we also forgot to unplug the refrigerator. It's okay. Alright. And then episode 6, I put that down. And then how did I call you? Or how did this happen? How did I call you?
So, I haven't talked to Sam in, I don't know how many years.
3, 4?
No, it was more than that.
Okay, we'll just say 5+.
It was a while ago.
Okay.
But we haven't talked in a long time. And he called me a week ago. Yeah, about a week ago. And was like, hey, man, what's going on? Tell me about these podcasts. Little did he find out that I'm like 3.5 hours away from him right now. I'm at a base in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually live in Pittsburgh, so it was just like crazy coincidence. And I'm actually leaving tomorrow. So he called me a week ago. I was only literally going to be here for another week. And it just worked out perfectly.
But he was also like Saturday or Sunday, and so I was like, Sunday will work. And then I hit him up yesterday.
We're in a barracks room right now, so there might be some
interruptions here and there.
Some extraordinary voices.
But I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna go on Sunday, and then he was like, and it didn't work out to say the least, and so then we got all this snow, and then I don't have to work today, and so Monday. That's what I meant to put also as the date. Monday, March 4th, 2019. So the last time we saw each other was probably like 2012, 13.
Yeah, it was here. It was in Kansas City.
Yeah, well, not here, but in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't downplay my 3.5. Don't downplay my 3.5 hour drive to see you. Might be going to Arkansas after this. I don't know. We'll see. But that's the last time we spoke on the phone. Last time we've seen each other, and then there's another question on here. And this is supposed to be organic and natural, so hopefully it'll be that way by like episode 20. This is kind of like last time we saw each other. When was that? Okay, we did that. When did we meet?
In Colorado.
Yeah, smoking weed and snowboarding is like the two things that I remember. So
that's pretty much it.
So,
No, we both went to Steamboat Springs, Colorado for our first year of college. That was your first year, right?
First year of life outside of my parents' house.
So, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Dang, bro.
You're like 24, aren't you?
I'm 26.
I was just like shooting way low. I know you're. Why is that such a? I know. Yeah,
It's
we
just
are
weird,
getting
bro.
old
It's
because we
weird.
met whenever we were 18.
Yeah, I was freaking 18.
Oh my gosh! So that's almost a decade ago. About. Anywho, so yeah, smoking weed and snowboarding was like our thing, right? How did you meet Jesus?
right into it, bro.
Well, we already talked about how we met, like.
For real, you want me to go there right now?
I mean, like, that's why we set the cameras up.
All right.
That's why we put the mic up. That's why we have all these people listening. Shout out to all the people who are listening, which is only, like, my mom and my cousin. But, like...
Shout out,
I don't
regardless.
I don't even know if... Shout out to my mom if she's
Hey,
listening.
I haven't seen you, Mom, in a long time. Shout out. Love you.
Okay.
What's her name? Cheyenne?
Tanya.
That's
my cousin's name. Kind of close.
So, I first met Jesus... when I was a kid. I mean, I grew up going to church, and I was passionate about God. I went to this youth group that was awesome. We played Manhunt. I got all my friends to come. I was like the evangelist in my little middle school, putting up like banners, like, come to our youth group. And I got so many kids to come, so many of my friends. And it was actually amazing. Like, we had so much fun playing capture the flag, all that kind of stuff. And I remember having experiences with God. Like, I had this one vision one day, and it was real to me, but I fell away from God about like when I was 13 or so. My friends started smoking weed and doing things they shouldn't have been doing, and at first I was like making them repent of all that they did. Like anytime they would say like a curse word, I'd be like, "Get on your knees and repent." And I was just like,
you were that guy.
I was that guy. I was so serious about it. But then slowly and surely I realized, or I thought, that sin was really fun. And that God became boring to me.
Yeah.
It was like, why would I want to do anything with God? I sit in a pew all day. I fall asleep every Sunday in my mom's lap in church. And youth group was just like, it was just fun more than anything. But I didn't
Were you
really
like
think.
16 whenever you
This
fell
was
asleep in your mom's lap?
Probably. Yeah, when she made me go, I probably still did. But no, this was like when I was 10 through 13.
Okay.
But then I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I started smoking weed with my friends and got into high school. And man, I just went down that road. I was like, sin is freaking awesome. I'm diving in. And I met up with like the coolest kids in my high school. It was a big school, like 1,800 kids. And I met this one kid. His name is Jonas. Jonas, Sarah, if you ever hear this, bro,
yo, shout out to
you.
Jonas, because I know him. I met him down in Arizona. We went spring break together.
That's right. Yeah, and he was like super cool with all the older kids, and I was like, I want to be just like this kid.
He has that like that D-bag mentality.
Yeah, he definitely did, more so then. I don't know now.
Like on a respectful level, because I know the kid, and like I called him. I think whenever I was driving through Arizona, he was like, "What's up, man?" And he was like, "I'm not living there anymore." Yeah. I was like, "Well, yeah, you're right. It's been like 6-7 years."
He actually joined the Air Force.
Really?
Yeah, like this past year.
That's crazy.
And I joined the Marine Corps. It's really weird that we both did that.
Are you still friends with him?
Not really.
Yeah.
Like, I talk to him maybe once, twice a year on the phone for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But whenever we see each other, it's good. But we don't got that.
So anyway, Jonas peer pressured you into smoking weed and hooking up with girls, and
I mean, sort of. Like, I wanted to be cool, and so I did whatever it took to be cool.
I know. I just didn't want to. I wanted to put it all on Jonas, as if Jonas.
Oh.
I really want to call him. We should call him. Go ahead with your story. I'm going to call him up.
All right. Yeah, I remember one day Jonas said to me, like, as I was still, like, sort of trying to tell people about Jesus, and I was like, yeah, bro, I was trying to tell him. And then one day he said, you can either choose me or God. My life or God.
Wait, Jonas said that to you?
Jonas said that to me. He might not remember that, but he did.
Yeah.
And it was like straight up the devil speaking to me. And I decided that I wanted to have Jonas's life.
Yeah.
And I said that. I said, all right, I want to do this. And so at that point, I was like, God, I want nothing to do with you at all. I told my mom, I don't want you to even talk to me about God.
90875222315.
Joe Nasty.
Hey, Jonas.
What's up, brother?
Sitting here with David.
David Paquette.
Yeah, that's what you say. Sitting here with Sam. Like, you know.
Do you remember Sam?
I guess
I'm sure you do.
I'm calling
Probably
him.
don't have his number saved, though.
Yeah, but it's cool. That's all.
What the heck, man? That's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, bro, so I dove into that life, man. I started having parties, like, almost every weekend. It was either Jones's house or my house. We were the kid that had the parties. And then I, like, freaking started sleeping around with girls. I started to get good looking somehow. Believe it or not, I used to not be this beautiful. Buck teeth, 5'4", braces. It was an ugly thing. But then I started to get handsome, and I just loved hooking up with girls, and I was like, it was my passion. I just wanted to get with the hottest girls. How many girls could I get with? And that's exactly what I did. I just would have these parties, hook up with girls, and I started getting into harder drugs, cocaine, ecstasy. I don't know how spread this is gonna be, or how honest I can be on this thing.
There's nobody gonna see. There's gonna maybe be like 4 or 5 people that see this. It's more so when we're dead and gone that people are gonna find this and they'll be like, "My grandpa was crazy."
As long as it doesn't get too popular in the next 3 years, I'm good.
It's fine.
As long as I'm like out of what I'm doing right now, but yeah, I started getting into acid, ecstasy, shrooms, coke, freaking ketamine. Like, I got into some pretty deep stuff, and I loved it. It was awesome. It was the craving that I had for something more than what this life had, and I would do these drugs because it made me feel amazing. It made me feel ways I've never felt before that you can't possibly feel when you're sober. And ecstasy was like this crazy sensation. I mean, like, it's like everything you touch just feels incredible, and you could just touch one like piece of metal for an hour and be overwhelmed. You know, it's just like these crazy experiences, and I loved it.
Yeah, don't advertise it so much. Tell us the bad parts about it.
Well, let me get to Jesus, and I'll tell you how more amazing he is.
Okay. You gotta talk about the. I don't know where I was gonna go ahead.
But yeah, it's just part of my testimony, who I was, and what Jesus brought me out of. But yeah, I ended up going out of high school with a bang.
You smoked too.
Smoked weed,
cigarettes,
yeah.
Yeah.
I started smoking when I was probably like 16.
That's kind of, I kind of want to throw that in there. Is that like how I got to know you? Was like we would be out in like negative 10-degree weather in shorts
Smoking
and a sweatshirt, and we'd be smoking in the smoke pit and just talking.
Yeah, and it'd be like the first thing we did in the morning.
Yeah,
and it'd be so cold.
Like negatives, and we would go out. I remember sometimes I'd wear flip flops,
crazy
shorts, and sweatshirt. I'd never get sick though. We should have died out there. I think I wanted to kind of. We should have died out there.
That was rough for me, actually. Like, it was fun, but I was so into girls back then, and our school was like 10-to-1 guy-girl ratio. That was tough, bro. I was struggling with that. But anyway, yeah, I went out to Colorado after high school, met Sam, met some other guys, and I actually got I don't know if Sam knows this, but I got really into prescription drugs when I was in Colorado. Mm-hmm. Hooked up with that kid, Sean. Mm-hmm. And I was just snorting and taking pills like crazy. And there would be days that I wouldn't remember at a time, just because of all the freaking pills. And after that season, like, I was out there for a year. Sam was, I think, only out there for a year too, right?
Yeah, but that was first semester, because then second semester Sean left, and then we became roommates.
We were roommates?
We were roommates.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was roommates with Sean.
No. Second semester, we were roommates. Because it was second half of the second semester because I was living with that kid that played World of Warcraft. His name was also Sam.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Sam.
He played World of Warcraft and he was loaded and he went out and bought like a big screen TV and we had the coolest room. Come on, you played Call of Duty in there.
Yeah.
But like nobody wanted to play with him because like. Well, that's right. After spring break, I came back and he had absolutely rearranged the whole entire room and put his big screen up and started playing World of Warcraft. It's like nobody could play Call of Duty with him or any kind of gaming.
And he just moved out.
And then I was like, "Yo, David, because Sean wasn't living with me anymore." So then I was like, "David, I'm gonna move into."
Is that my room?
I don't know.
I think they're just being obnoxious. Yeah. Anyway, someone just pounded on the door.
Yeah.
Someone.
Oh yeah. So then yeah, we moved into together.
It's weird. I don't remember that, man. It's all a blur.
Mm-hmm.
So
You don't remember living with me. That kind of hurts, but whatever.
I had this friend too. Well, we both had this friend.
Like that really hurts.
Sorry, bro.
Can you like dig deep and like remember the
I kind of
weed
remember
tapestry that we had that was hanging up and then
we had a weed.
whole
Oh my
entire
gosh!
wall
Oh, of the maps.
of the maps.
I remember the maps.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I actually have a
Steamboat
picture of
Springs.
it. I'm not even joking you. This will kind of like trigger your memory back to that time. Here. This was our room.
Oh my gosh. That is nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we took the bunks and then like moved them out of there. I remember like
Did we play beer pong in there once? Was that our room or was that when my brother came out?
I have no idea. Anyway, here you go.
That's really crazy.
I don't know if it'll be in focus.
Do you have any more pictures from then?
Yeah.
I'd love to see.
This
more
is
pictures.
you standing on top of a mountain naked.
What the heck? I remember that when we drove back from Fort Collins or somewhere.
No, you were coming to pick me up from spring break because I had taken a plane back to Arizona.
Okay.
You picked me up in my car.
And I had to poop so bad.
So you hiked up a mountain and then you took all your clothes off and I didn't know why.
You gotta show my roommate this, but he can't have it because that's blackmail. But anyway.
That's the only two pictures that I have from college. You naked on top of a mountain in our room.
That explains everything right there. Podcast over.
So we met. I remember also one time when we went to, I guess this is going to be a little bit different from my testimony. I remember we were in a church and Sean like disrespected something. Like he was mocking God or something inside of a church.
Okay.
And we never talked about God. We didn't talk about religion. We didn't talk about any of that. We just kind of like... It's crazy because we talked about everything but that.
Yeah.
And then we went to this church. You remember this church that we went to?
Was it with Zan?
I don't
Like a
think
Young
so.
Life thing?
No, like they were like serving food and like it was like an open house or something where you could go and just eat some food and like hang out at this church.
Oh, yeah, sort of.
Sean was there and then Sean's AJ. Or Jake, the
Bartlett.
other Jake or something. Yeah, like we all went.
Yeah.
And Sean was talking smack on God.
Okay.
And like you spoke up and you were like, yo, that's not cool. And I'd never seen David serious until somebody was talking smack on God. And then basically he spoke up and I was like, maybe there is more to this guy than smoking cigarettes and snowboarding.
Dang, bro.
And
that's the thing, like, even though I was so far away from God, like, I still had those roots in me. And him in me, just like, I was just running away from him, but he was still always there. There'd be a lot of moments where I'd be laying in my bed and be like, God, you know what, I'm gonna follow you. Tomorrow I'm gonna do it. And then the next day I just wouldn't. And I keep doing what I was doing.
Then there'd be a knock at the door from Sam saying, "Yo, can I bum a cigarette?"
Yeah. But it was never. I never didn't believe in him. It was always just I didn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like to continue what he was saying, like there was this one chick we knew, Zan, and she would
Don't be chauvinistic. She was a woman, not a chick.
A woman.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know those big words, chauvinistic. And
You got to believe that if there's 4 people who watch this, that 1 out of the 4 is going to take offense to that.
It's true. It's
Just
true.
kidding.
I'm so sorry for all of you that are offended. A woman, she had red hair, blonde, or never mind. Anyway, I lost it. But yeah, she would always tell me about God.
Yeah.
And I would always because she was really cute, and I kind of went along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that would happen a lot in my life too, just people trying to reach out to me, and I'd talk to them a little bit, but
You would never open up and
yeah,
tell them this.
yeah, exactly.
Have you told anybody this story?
Yeah, in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as in depth probably.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean from there.
Hey, can you not make any noise over there? We're trying to have a.
I'm trying, man. Trying to be as quiet as possible.
You're doing good, bro. Don't listen to him. Just turn your phone off.
Just shut up. You're doing good. Just shut your mouth.
No, but
Who is that over there?
that's my roommate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants his full name on here. I'll just call him BM for now.
You're saying my last name.
Minnow. Hello, my name is Minnow. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What?
What?
Okay.
And then from there, do you want me to?
Yeah. Zan was the you met her and she started telling you about God and you're like, yeah, I've heard this a million times, and then you kind of opened up with her a little bit, and then your relationship with her built too.
It was weird, man. I was at the point where I thought of it as a challenge to even get Christian girls to try to hook up with them.
Mm-hmm.
I was that kind of guy. I wanted to just I loved the challenge. Oh, Christian girl, trying to get them to fall or to hook up with them. It was twisted, man. I was all twisted up. But moving on from Colorado, unless you wanted to say anything else there.
Say as much as you want. Don't. Your wife could listen to this.
Yeah, that's fine. She does. I'm not married yet, but I will be. Yeah, so I moved back to New Jersey. I actually didn't really like Colorado that much. It was freaking freezing there.
Mm.
And I realized that I wasn't going to go pro in snowboarding, so I got out of there.
That's exactly why everybody went there.
Exactly. But then you see a 10-year-old doing 900s off
Oh
a
my
50-foot
gosh.
jump, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to make it. So I got out of there, went back to Jersey where I'm from, and this one night, this is kind of where Jesus came into play after 6 years of rebelling. This one night I was laying in bed, and one of my friends, he was drunk, and he had a really bad problem, and I was trying to help him out, and it was freaking stressing me out. And I'm at his house, I'm just laying in bed, and I'm talking to God, and I'm like, God, I have done the best of sin. I've had more fun in sin than anybody I know. Any of my friends. I went to Las Vegas when I was 18 with a fake ID. Went to the biggest rave in America. Was rolling on ecstasy, tripping my freaking brains out. I mean, I just had so much fun. And I said to God, God, what's next in life? The next best drug? The next hot girl? Is there anything more to life than this? And I said to him, I don't care if you're Buddha. I don't care if you're Allah. I don't care if you're Jesus. I just have to know if you're real and there's more to life than this. And I woke up the next day, and instead of just doing what I was doing, my heart was set. And I began to seek God with all of my heart. And that brought me on a month-long journey of just going hard after God. Not knowing if he was real exactly, not knowing who he was, but I was so hungry and thirsty to know the truth, to know if there was something out there. And every single day I started ripping through the Bible. I started just asking God questions every single day. Between all my classes when I was in college, I would just be ripping through the Bible, so hungry to know. And it was feeding my soul. Even though I didn't understand what any of it meant, it was still feeding me. And I was like, I have to keep reading. I have to know, like, this God, if he's real or not. And every night I'd be in my car cursing God out as I'm reading the passage. I'm like, God, what does this mean? I don't get this. How am I supposed to understand this? Just asking these questions. And I'd started going to a Bible study, and it'd be crazy because I'd go to this Bible study and someone would bring up a question that I had asked God. And I'd, like, in the middle of the Bible study, I didn't know any of, like, the customs and courtesies in Christianity. I'd just be like, hold on a minute, how did you know that? I asked God that today. Like, I'd be freaking out in the middle of the Bible study. I'd be like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I freaking asked God that. Like, what the heck? And so that was God pulling me in. He was drawing me in. And the Bible says that when you search for him and seek him with all of your heart, you will find him. And that's what was happening without me realizing it. All of my heart was searching for God. And he was, like, moving the world for me to come to him. Because God's always waiting there for you to turn around. And as soon as you turn around and start pursuing him, he moves the world for you to know him. Because his desire is for you to know him more than anything. And that's what was happening. And a month of this goes on. My brother tells me about some crazy miracle at a church. He told me about this lady that had a pacemaker in her heart. This is going to be kind of weird to some of you viewers out there. But
my 4 viewers.
Your 4 viewers. But one day, millions, Sam. And
1 million viewers.
You guys can be like, all right, I lost it after this story. But anyway, this is what happened. My brother told me about this lady at this church. She had a pacemaker in her heart because of some heart condition. She got prayed for, and the metal from the pacemaker came out of her chest, fell to the ground, and she was totally healed. He told me that story, and I was like, bullshit. You know, like, I don't believe that, but I'm so curious. I'm going to this church. Because I didn't know that God healed or any of that kind of stuff. I just didn't know. I was ignorant to all of it. And I come to this church, it's 1,000 people. I don't know anybody except for my 2 brothers that were there. And this lady gets on stage, and she's like, I just feel like we're supposed to prophesy over each other. Get into groups of 4, and we're going to prophesy. And I'm just there, not knowing what's going on. Get into groups of 4, introduce myself to some random guy. And the guy says to me, David, I just see God's hand going into your heart today. And he's pulling out all of your questions. And he's going to answer your questions today.
This stops recording at like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So if we hear click, if you hear it better than I do, then let me know.
Okay.
It'll be like, just like that.
And then we have to restart, or we just have to continue.
Yeah, we have to do the whole thing over
Okay,
again.
that's fine. That's a good prep.
Yeah, and then this one over here. I gotta make sure that this is called anxiety. Is there a verse for that?
There's lots of them.
Could you name a verse that's
that deals with it? Do not be anxious about anything. There you go.
Anxiety does not add 1 cubit to your life.
Yeah.
Which is a measurement. Anyway, sorry. Sometimes that happens in these things.
That's okay. I understand. You just have to get a better camera, that's all.
Well, for your camera not to do that, you have to spend like $5,000.
That's what I'm going to donate after this, so.
Okay, cool. Sorry to like interrupt the whole entire flow. So you were at a church and groups of 4 prophesy, and this guy turned to you and he was like, I feel like...
Yeah. I didn't know what prophecy was at all, but he just says, I see God putting his hand in your heart today, and he's pulling out the questions, and he's going to answer your questions today. Right away, tears just started to flow. And I was like, what the heck's happening? Where am I? What am I doing here? How did he know that? All that's going through my mind as I'm just like crying. I don't even know why I'm crying. But I'm at this point now, I'm on my face, like by the altar, just like crying, not knowing what's happening, like what's going on. And this lady comes up to me, and she's like, she introduced herself to me, and she said, "You've just been highlighted to me." And I don't know what that meant, but she's like, after worship, can I pray for you? And I said, yeah, sure. Actually, it was more like, yeah, sure. And so after worship, I went over to her, and her husband laid their hands on me, and she begins praying for me. And as she's praying for me, the Lord begins to show her the things in my heart. And one by one, she's addressing these questions that I had asked God, and only He knew. And I just begin to all out weep, like, because only God knew these things. And it was God just like answering my questions, and I'm just bawling my eyes out, like, what the heck's going on? Like, oh my gosh, all this is happening. And while she's saying these things, all of a sudden I have a vision, and I see all of my sins pass before my eyes. Everything I did. How I led.
So you saw me.
I saw Sam. He was the first one I saw.
Really?
No, I was just kidding.
Okay.
But
that's not really. I shouldn't be like prideful about that. Like, yeah, like really, when you thought of all your sins, like Sam was the first thing. Go ahead.
No, I'm sure you were in there though. But yeah, just how I had lied so much and denied Jesus, and led people.
All those cigarettes.
Cigarettes, not really. It was more of just like, just all the things I did, and I was a mess, man. Like, I was at that point, I was like encountering God, and I was freaking out, like, and I began to cry out for mercy, like, God, please forgive me for all these things. I literally would lead people away from Him, and I'm begging Him to forgive me, you know, because I don't deserve it at all. All of my sin, I don't deserve any of this. And then as I'm just confessing my sins and crying out for His mercy, I begin to feel His love from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. And I know that sounds weird, like, how do you feel someone's love? But that's exactly what happened. It was tangible love. And it went from the top of my head, and it began to feel like I was rolling on ecstasy. That's why I bring it up earlier about ecstasy. It began to feel like that all over my body, like I was rolling on ecstasy.
So you were experiencing ecstasy.
It was like ecstasy.
But not the literal.
But not the drug. It was just God's love.
Yeah. Ecstasy used to be a description of feeling.
Yeah.
Before it was a drug.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
I was feeling ecstasy. And it was totally overwhelming. And it lasted for about like an hour to hour and a half of just that feeling. And I was...
You sure nobody like slipped ecstasy in your coffee?
In the freaking...
Yeah, like,
yeah, I'm positive.
They just put a bunch of ecstasy in the coffee. There. Okay.
They're like,
Are you
100% sure.
Okay, all right, go on.
Yeah, it went on for like an hour and a half.
Wait, are you sure?
Positive. I don't think I had coffee that day, so
okay,
I'm good.
All right. Experienced ecstasy for like an hour.
Hour and a half of just His love.
Yeah.
And He was
this like during a sermon, or was this like
it was
you were
after,
just sitting there, or like
it was after worship, and people were just getting ministered to. Mm-hmm. I was like in the front while other people were getting prayed for. I was too. Mm-hmm. So everything was kind of...
Was it like a mega church?
Yeah. It was pretty huge.
Was it Joel Osteen?
No. Not that big. But it was the biggest church I ever been to.
Is Joel Osteen crazy?
No.
Okay.
I think he's crazy. I don't know too much about him, but I do like him.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
Okay, well, there's going to be like 1 out of the 4 viewers that is going to get offended by that, so...
Should I take it back?
You don't have to take it back.
I don't care if you get offended. I really don't. I do not care. I'm not political and any of that, so sorry.
Hey, what'd I say over there? You got one job. Just be quiet.
Damn, this thing takes a fucking beat.
He dropped his vape. Oh. I remember whenever I vaped.
Still works.
Like 3 days ago. No, it was last week I stopped vaping. So.
Good job,
this is just as much my testimony as yours, by the way. So when I interrupt like that, just deal with it.
I'm fine with it, bro.
Okay.
This is your thing.
Okay. But you were talking about how you don't get offended, or you don't care if anybody gets offended.
I don't. Really, I mean, so what? I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say chicks. Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
I have this like on-camera laugh, and I realized it whenever I was editing one. The last one, I have an on-camera laugh. I just did it right there. It's not on purpose or anything like that. It's like a.
Is it fake?
It's not fake. It's just like over dramatic because it's just like.
You have to like please the audience and be.
No,
dramatic?
it's not. I think it's unconsciously like. Because if I was consciously trying to over emotionalize with things, then I'd be like, cut it out, Sam. Because you know me well enough to know that like the one thing I don't do is bullshit. Like I'm kind of pretty blunt when it comes to just I kind of let it all hang out. I'm too vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that about you.
Uh-huh. I would tell you everything, like whatever was on my mind. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it wasn't God or Jesus. It was crazy that we were roommates for like 2 months or something. And we never actually discussed it. Anyway, it worked out because now we're here and I'm hearing your story and your grandkids are going to totally crack up laughing at this.
Crazy.
Can you imagine that? Your grandkids, like, I mean, you don't even have a wife, but like, assuming that you have kids and they have kids, your grandkids, that's kind of why I made this. Can you imagine your grandkids watching this?
That would be awesome. I'd love for them to see that.
Grandpapa, who was that guy in the room with you? Who was your roommate? Who's this Minnow person?
Minnow.
Alright, so you were at a mega church, which I've never been to a mega church. I have this very...
Really?
Yeah, I've never been to a mega church.
Yeah. There's 1,000 people. Is that mega? I think that's mega.
I think so.
Yeah.
We could make this as an ASMR, my testimony, if we just get really close and kind of like talk.
What's an ASMR?
ASMR is this thing that they got going on where like, you don't really, you whisper.
Okay.
And so you have to have a really quality microphone like this one.
Okay.
And,
I love you.
Help me. and so you have to just whisper.
It feels more intimate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think people have been, I'm telling you, like, this is like a thing. You know what ASMR is, right?
Me?
Yeah. Okay. Alright. Well, he doesn't know about it, but everybody else knows about it. Everybody knows about the ASMR.
This is it.
Yeah, you just like people fall asleep to it. And
I feel so alive.
Yeah. So you just like talk really quietly into the microphone. You have to enunciate.
If I can hear like all your little like.
I know. I already said that this one was gonna be. I already said this one was gonna be different, right? This is what I meant. and they'll like take things and like make different like.
It sounds like it's gonna be a lot of.
No.
Oh, sorry.
So like when people listen to that through the microphone, it's like it sounds really different. Or like.
This is what you do when you're on drugs.
Let's clarify something real quick. We're in a barracks, and we can't have drugs in here.
True.
So like, let's make that real clear to the audience.
Yeah. They need to know.
Yeah.
Shh. Here comes the beast. Oh no. Go back to bed. Anyway.
So you were in this mega church, and
yeah. This could get really weird, or I could still be kind of serious.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll finish this.
Okay.
Yeah. So this experience happened, and afterwards.
No. You gotta be softer and closer to the microphone.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. So after this experience happened, I was totally
closer to the microphone. This is getting real intimate.
I was like, do I need to be quiet or is this good?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, you want to use your whisper.
My whisper voice. Okay. So.
Who's slamming all those damn doors? Go ahead.
Thanks, Sam. I was totally astounded. And my mind was totally blown. Actually, for 2 days after this experience, I didn't talk to anybody because I was so rocked that God was actually real.
Yeah.
It totally changed my world. Because I was like, I've been living a lie. That's what it felt like. I've been living a lie for the past 6 years. Actually, my whole life. I had no idea how real God was. And I decided, I was like, you know what? I know that God's real now. I'm going to back up a little bit.
Okay.
I know that God's real now. And if the Bible's true, and this Jesus is true, then I'm either going to be 100% in, or I'm not doing it at all. And that's kind of the attitude and mindset I've always had with everything, is I'm an all-in type of person. And I said, you know what, man, I know that God's real. I'm doing this thing. And I jumped in. Just like I jumped into sin, I jumped into God. 100%. I went back to my freaking friends' parties, and I'm telling them all about it. Guys, God is freaking real. I had no idea. Slowly but surely, I stopped getting invited to those parties. Slowly but surely.
Were you still drinking at that point?
No.
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a big part of the testimony. Thank you. But like, all the drugs, all the drinking, hooking up with girls, I never have done that since. Have never done a drug since. I've never gotten drunk since.
Smoked a cigarette?
I've smoked a cigarette since.
Oh, come on. No, I'm just kidding.
And I never slept with girls or whatever. But like, that's amazing. Yeah. Like, God totally changed me. He entered into my life and made me a new person. Like the Bible talks about, like, behold, you're a new creation, a child of God.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Like, my whole old life was dead.
Are you sure you just didn't go crazy? Like, do you ever question yourself, thinking to yourself, like, this is all nuts?
No.
You don't ever do that?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I do that from time to time.
No,
I'll think back and I'll look at myself and I'll go, why did I talk so much at youth group? Like, why did I spend so much time talking? I ran my mouth that whole entire time instead of like really actually discussing it.
Your face is so funny.
Is there anything I can do to change it? Can I take these off?
No, I think just you going like this while you're talking doesn't help. There you go. Like this, there you go.
What?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. That's better. Okay. I don't like this ASMR thing. Although it does bring like a whole new level to it.
I feel God's presence, by the way.
Yeah. What does that look like?
It looks like things coming to life.
Yeah.
And alive. And it looks like joy.
Yeah.
And peace.
Okay.
I feel all those things.
Yeah, okay. A piece of me is like, wow. Like, did I do that?
You're definitely part of it, bro.
I think that's my biggest weakness. Is that anytime somebody has something to say, or something that they do, or something that they compliment, or just like I took that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm like, oh, did I do that? Was that me?
Why is that a weakness?
Why is that a weakness?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't.
Yeah, bro, that's awesome.
Usually isn't me. It's like the aesthetics of this freaking tree in between us, like that had to do more with it than me, I think.
No.
Nah.
God lives in you. And he manifests through you.
Yeah.
So a lot of awesome things happen because you're around.
So I remember you being like crazy, and like at IHOP that thing that we did.
Like, what do you mean?
Actually, I don't remember you being crazy. I just remember you praying in the basement, and my dad coming downstairs and being like saw you praying in our basement.
Okay.
And I remember him telling me, he was like, "Your friend's crazy."
And you were like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh. So that was at the IHOP conference. What was it called? Flame On or something? One thing.
Yeah.
Flame On. That's.
I remember you were like, Laura Hackett. Remember that girl? You like got a picture with her or something?
I still have it.
Yeah. You're obsessed with her for like
No.
For a minute
If you want to, I was. But if you want to talk about obsession, that one girl now that is like famous, like she's hit the mainstream. With the dreads, long dreads.
Daigle?
Yeah. Lauren Daigle.
Lauren Daigle?
Yeah. You were in love with her.
I was?
Yes.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't.
You were in love with her.
Really?
Yes. You thought she was really pretty. I mean, maybe you weren't in love with her, but you thought she was really pretty. And then we were like discussing, like, you know, how old is she? And she's like 40 something, isn't she?
No, you're thinking of freaking Misty Edwards, dude.
Oh.
I'm like, no, bro. Lauren Daigle, no. She's young. She's like, Lauren Daigle's in her 20s.
Oh my gosh. I've been telling everybody that Lauren Daigle's like 40.
No, you're thinking of Misty Edwards. You're an idiot.
You know how many people I've told? They're like, really? Like, and I'm like, yeah. And they like believe it after that.
No, she's like pop Christianity. Lauren Daigle.
Yeah.
She's really famous.
But she's definitely not 40. That's so funny.
I think she's younger than us.
Really?
Lauren Daigle, yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So we took a real big turn there.
That's okay. That was a good turn. But I definitely think that like I could be crazy, and I think that it's because like before I knew Jesus, like if I saw anybody passionately worshiping God,
Yeah.
or like being all out into Jesus, I'd think they were crazy too.
Yeah.
You know, like, but it's just because I didn't know. I had no idea. It's like freaking The Matrix, the blue pill and the red pill,
Sure.
and like.
You're starting to sound like my pastor.
Really?
One of my pastors.
He says that?
Yeah, he's way into the Matrix, Bob Dylan, and everything that proceeds from those.
Dude, it's so true though. Like, which one's the pill that your eyes are open? The red one?
I don't remember.
All right. Well, anyway.
I think it's the red one because it's. I don't
think
know.
it's the red one.
Did this thing click yet? Dude, it stopped and.
Didn't even hear it.
Yeah, so it stops after 30 minutes, so we're gonna have to just like. We'll just put an alarm. How about that? It's okay because I have that one and that one recording.
Yeah.
Hopefully this one's recording. We get stuck in that one. No, it's recording. Dude, Minnow, your feet smell so bad.
Welcome to my world.
Oh my gosh, can we open a window? Or could you fart, David?
I don't think that's my feet. That actually smells like asshole.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, I
Wow.
smell that.
You smell that?
Yeah. No, that's not my feet.
Do you think that somebody like released a stink bomb? Do they do that here?
That is really.
Do you smell that?
Man, no, that's pretty bad, man.
I don't think that's me, though.
Like, you want to be to fart. That's a first.
So I don't know if I mentioned or if I said this, but my testimony is going to be a little different.
Are you telling me this to the audience?
Both. A whole lot of both. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you made it this far, oh my gosh, and you haven't subscribed, on the count of three, we're going to tell them to subscribe.
You're lost.
One, 1, 2, 3. You're like, he did it last time, he's going to do it again.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Now. Push the button.
Don't forget to push the notification bell. Yo, Minnow, you should subscribe to the channel, though.
Try to take a nap.
Okay. Do you want us to keep doing ASMR?
Go for it.
Or not? I like him.
I do too.
Not like that though, but like, you know.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. You have any stories with him? Have you shared the gospel with him?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. He's kind of like doesn't want too much to do with God at this point in his life.
Yeah.
But I still talk about him.
That's weird.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I've been there. I understand. Like, you know, I get it. But I pray for him. I love him.
Who do you pray for?
Like specifically?
Yeah, other than Minnow.
I pray for this other kid, Rice, a lot. It's in our TAC.
Yeah.
Yeah, God puts him on my heart a lot. And he's kind of like, I don't know if he's the same as Minnow, but like he's not really too much into God either.
Yeah.
But
No one's the same as me.
what do you think? You're like the farthest?
Yeah.
You should get in on this.
I'll say some shit you don't want to hear.
Oh, as if like your experiences are any different than mine. Please.
Listen, they are.
Do you want to hear a story, David, from like what's happened since we've seen each other?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of which one.
Let me just tell you, Minnow's life is definitely very different than anything you've got. From the little bit I do know, it's pretty wild.
All right, then I won't try to compete with him.
Yeah. He should jump on here though. It'd be definitely interesting.
He's sleeping right now.
Minnow, you want to be famous?
That's usually how people get famous on like line is like they're mysterious. They don't know who the person is. So you don't even have to be in the frame.
What's the question?
What's the craziest experience of your life?
Craziest experience? Coming home from a vacation that you spend on every year, and to find out that your uncle's hanging in the garage. So that's a pretty crazy experience.
You walked into the garage
Yeah,
and saw your uncle hanging.
yeah. That's a crazy experience. You can't get out of your head.
How do you sleep?
I don't. I have problems sleeping.
Do you wake up with anxiety? Do you have anxiety attacks?
No. I have anger issues.
You found anything to fix it?
Beat people up.
I've got some stories of being on the other end of the fist.
Trust me, I have too. The other end of the bottle.
Like trying to relate.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you're in the shot when you lean back all the way like that. No, you are. Well, you know, you got a friend for life.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like you could call David like 7 years after being his roommate and he'll pick up.
I know.
So this is kind of actually interesting is that this is your roommate. I was his roommate, you know? That's probably the only damn thing we have in common.
That's me.
That's you?
Yeah.
Do you need to return a text
I'm
message?
just gonna check, see what it is real quick.
That's fine. I'm gonna talk to Minnow. Are you still in contact with your family? Do you talk to your family? Are you an independent guy? Like, or do you have a girlfriend?
I'm more independent.
How old are you?
I'm 20. And I do my own shit.
You're ahead of the curve then.
Yeah. Mom's in the Marine Corps. Can barely see her. Sister is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but she's great. I have my own dog. I have my own motorcycle. I have a car. I just do my own thing.
Everything paid off?
Yeah, except for my bike.
You're a lot farther than I am today.
It all depends on what you do to reach the point that you want to be at.
Where'd you read that?
It just comes off my noggin.
Where are you from?
New York.
Where's your accent?
I don't really have one.
Is it upstate?
No.
Huh?
No, from Ireland.
Really?
Yeah.
Staten?
No, Long Island.
Long Island.
I could get an accent, like I could talk like in an Italian manner.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I got a friend who he lives in Brooklyn. I guess I could tell you that story. Girl broke up with me, and so what are you gonna do? You drive to New York. You call your buddy who's a photographer, and you say, hey, can I come hang out with you? And he says, yeah. And so I actually stayed with Adrian in Philadelphia. What?
You ever see Rocky?
Adrian.
He yells Adrian.
No.
Sam's lost.
No?
I mean, I've seen Rocky, but it was like whenever I was like 8.
Adrian.
Adrian. He yells like he gets beat up, and he's like fucking yelling for him.
Alright, so that's Minnow. Where were we?
I was just saying that, like, how
You kind of did tell your testimony already, so like we've moved on to the portion of
yeah.
what did we miss about that? You like got smacked with the hand of justice.
Pretty much.
You got smited by Lord himself, and
Yeah.
ended up going and telling all your friends like, hey, you guys should get smited by. You should
Much what happened.
you should learn about this merciful, just God of mine.
Yeah.
And you went and talked. Did you have any friends then after that?
Not really. I made new ones though, but like, I made Jesus as my best friend, and like I came to the conclusion I don't even care. Like his friendship is better than anyone could ever give me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was willing, to lose them if that had to happen, which it did for the most part. Like none of them are really close with it. I talked to a couple here and there, but one thing in the Bible that Jesus said, he says, if you leave your father, mother, friends, relatives, whatever, for me, you will not fail to receive 100 times in this life and also in the life to come. And that's like exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like I left my home, I left my family. I moved out to get plugged into this church. It was 2 hours away. I was driving every Sunday to go to this church from my house in New Jersey. And then I just ended up moving out there. Left everything. I was in college. I left education, left my job, left my friends, and I just was so hungry to know Jesus more. And in that, I just have a lot of brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, friends in my life that I would have never known hadn't I done that. But it's true, like, you can't outgive God. You give these things to him, and he'll give you his things. It's like, I call it the great exchange. You give all of yourself to him, all that you are, and he gives all that he is to you. It's totally unfair. But it's the amazing thing about following God and knowing him.
So what you're saying is you don't believe in equality.
I'm not very political. I don't know too much about that.
So you didn't catch
No.
on to that because you haven't seen the pointless interviews with this one guy who talks about fairness and giving and receiving and how things. Okay.
No. One thing I know though is that honestly with equality is that like things with the gospel aren't fair.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things isn't fair. I mean, to get saved isn't fair. We totally don't deserve it in any way. God's mercy isn't fair. we deserve his like wrath.
You said we deserve his wrath once a month.
No, I didn't say that.
I don't. Sorry.
But yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. There's just this story that's been stirring around in my head.
What?
Minnow, I want to hear the rest of the story of you.
Me.
Yeah.
I do too, man. I still don't even know most of your life.
Yeah.
Like what? What story? I don't really have much of a story. It's just complicated.
Bro, stop being all
Yeah,
lame,
quit
dude.
being all 20 years old, like...
You got a story, man.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, like, it's hard, but it should be shared.
Because, sorry, the last, like, 5 minutes of you speaking just wasn't as interesting as Minnow's 30-second story.
I understand.
So I was just like, I was kind of like brewing in that. Is your last name really Minnow?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Okay.
Minnow Barbara.
Yeah, we'll kick you off from my childhood. So I lived in Florida until I was 3 with my mom and dad and grandparents.
Well, you got the microphone's over here.
Bring that rolling chair over.
Well, I'm giving you my story. I don't know if you're going to work this shit. It's complicated. But,
Well, it's gonna get recorded no matter what. I mean, God is a recorder. Life is a recorder. If you feel it, if you think it, if you thought it, like it's recorded. Now to YouTube, he's like, "Shut up, Sam." Your childhood was in Florida?
yeah, only till I was 3.
Yeah.
So
Well, sit down where David's sitting.
I'm not getting in the camera. I'll explain it to you, but I'm not getting in the camera.
Okay.
What is it called? So yeah, I was 3 years old, and then I lived with my grandparents, my Uncle Mike, a mom and dad. Mom and dad never got married. Mom was into drugs, so I was taken away by child care services, and then I moved up to Farmingdale, New York. So I went from Florida to New York. Lived with my aunt and uncle, and what was it called? So I lived with them until I was like 10, I believe, and that was the aunt and uncle I would always go on vacation with. So we would go on vacation every year to a place upstate called Glenbrook Farms. And so we went up there, and my Uncle Benny said that he had to stay back because he had to work. So like, all right. He said he would meet us up there. And then it turns out by the end of the week, because we would only go up there for a week, he never came up. So we're like, all right, that's weird. And he wasn't answering his phone or anything. So we're like, all right, that's fine. Someone might go want to check on him. So they sent one of our other aunts over, and they couldn't find him. And like, so we finally come home for the week, and we're like, where the fuck is this motherfucker? And his car was there. He wasn't in the house. Like, we went and looked around. He wasn't in the house, like in the rooms or anything. And then like we're settling in, like unpacking shit, and like I was always an outdoor type of kid, so like me, I was like, fuck it, let me just go put my I think either a scooter or a skateboard. I was like, let me go put this away. So I brought it through the house and went through the garage door, and then saw that, obviously. And that's the uncle I was talking about from before. And then after that, like, my aunt wanted to move back to Florida because that's where she was from originally. So she had a daughter and a son, Vinny and Emily. So she decided to move back to Florida with her 2 kids. And then my real mom, my birth mom, got involved legally and kept me from going to Florida because she didn't want me back there. So it was either I go into a foster home or go into another family member's care. So I went and moved in with one of my mom's other brothers. And then I lived with them until I was like 15. And then they were like very abusive, like verbally abusive and shit, like always, like never treating me like I was one of their own, like always treating me different and shit. Like I would always try and stick to myself, do my own thing. And then I think it was like, I was like 15, and at that point I was like working, I did a lot of work, so I was always working, and I had a lot of money saved up because they never let me use it. Never had a phone or anything like electronics wise, so I was always like hands on. And so at one point I was hanging out with their son, Tristan. They also have a son and a daughter, Tristan and Alyssa. And I was hanging out with her son, and we decided to go out one night. And we went mudding about like an hour away, which is like, you know what mudding is, just take a Jeep or a truck.
Yeah.
Into mud and shit. So we drove out like an hour away, and like I texted my aunt, letting her know what I was doing. And she never responded back to me until it was like 9:20, and we were like an hour away. And we just got there pretty much, and she finally answered and said, "Be back by 10 o'clock." Which is weird because I was with her son, it was a Friday, and, what is it called? Yeah, so I was with her son, it was a Friday, and she was just like, "Be home by 10 o'clock. And then she kept going off, and I asked to stay out later, and no, it didn't work. And I was like, okay, well, I'm probably going to be a little bit late because we're an hour away. And then she's like, oh, well, then just don't bother coming home at all. So I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. I was like, blah, 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 all this other shit. And then, like, she said something. Then I said, like, something stupid. I was like, all right, I'm sorry, I won't come home for the tonight. And then she's like, we better find other accommodations for you or something like that. And I was like, okay, I mean, whatever, fucking bitch. So, she said that, and then I was like, I don't know what else I did wrong, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you breathe. So I was like, okay. I was like, thanks for giving me the answer I fucking needed. So, never went back to that house for the weekend. And then that's where my mom/stepmom comes in to play.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm so
So, that's where she comes into play. She's a Chief Warrant Officer 4. So she was my ROTC instructor. So I had a color guard I had to do on Monday, and I didn't show up. So I went. She found me in class and was like, "What the fuck happened? Like, what's going on?" And I explained the whole story to her, and then she's like, "All right, well, we'll just get you out of the house." I was like, "All right, so how the fuck's this gonna work?" And then all this other shit happened, and then cops were called, all this other stuff, and I went back to the cops are involved, and then they made me go back to the house with my other aunt. So I go back there, blah, 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 freaking, and then I was like, alright, cool, I'm just gonna go to school the next day. So I decided I went to school the next day, and never to go back to that house. And, house till this day. So I, what was it called? Yeah, so I never went back to the house. I was arrested in high school for missing persons reports. There was 15 missing persons reports filed for me. But I was released because I was going to school and I wasn't considered, there's a word for it, I forget the word. But as long as I went to school, I wouldn't have been arrested fully. And yeah, that's pretty much that.
What about your dad?
My dad.
Or is he in all of this?
My dad in all this is all over the world. He's an exotic car transporter. So he owns his own business transporting exotic cars, and I just don't really hear much from him. I haven't seen him since I was like 8, I think.
So he didn't have like any say in where you would be or.
No say.
Dang.
And then.
Did he sign the paper that pretty much said like this isn't my son?
Not really. No.
There's seriously though, like if you're mother and you have a son and you can have the father sign a paper that pretty much says that you'll never contact them or whatever, and they don't have to pay child support.
No, I don't think my dad signed that. But yeah, he was never really involved in my life, and he just started trying to get back at the mother. But he found me on social media, hit me up through there, and then yeah, pretty much just he texts me once in a while. I was actually just texting him. Yeah, no, that's pretty fucking crazy. It was all over the place.
Yeah, who's gonna show up to your graduation tomorrow?
No one.
What the heck?
Serious.
Why, it was a serious question. What? Why are you laughing?
It's true.
We were laughing earlier because I have this these eyes on this hand, and as you were speaking, I was doing that. Just want to kind of clip. Not so much for you, but for the audience, you know, the 4 people that are listening, because all 4 of them would be like, why are they laughing at the story of this horrendous life that was... But you're here, so you made it, so like...
Well, yeah, pretty much.
So like you're graduating tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I've been here for almost a year.
It sounds like you have your shit put together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have a home, and you said you have a dog, and you're gonna be...
Yeah, you know, the stepmom I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live with her.
Are you planning on moving out?
Yeah, it all depends how it all goes in Yuma, because I might just move to Cali after. I don't know.
Don't move to California. That's where marijuana is legal. Says the guy sitting next to the other guy that moved to Colorado just to go snowboard. Did you really want to become a pro snowboarder?
Yeah.
I did too.
I had ambitions.
I did too.
Snowboarding's a lot of fun. I used to be really good at it.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't been snowboarding in so fucking long.
No, me either. Since Steamboat.
It doesn't go away. It's like riding a bike. I can tell you that much.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
encouraging.
snowboarded a couple months ago by myself on Steamboat. At Steamboat.
Jeez, dope.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd know that if you'd watch my
You
vlog.
want to turn that down a little bit with you?
No, I didn't turn it. No, I didn't. There's a microphone on this camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Don't worry, Minnow's story is going to be... I don't know what I'm going to use as a face, though, because the last time I did this, there was... there was like 20 minutes. Yeah, well, there was like 20 minutes of the video that wasn't recording him.
Is that just me?
No, that was this.
Ah.
But the last time I did one of these, Minnow, the guy, it didn't record the guy speaking, and so I ended up having to draw these eyes on my hand and do this. Like, that was the filler, so that it wasn't just, like, nothing. And it was, like, past footage that I had used, so it had his arms and stuff, and it was just, like, this over his face. Yeah. So that's how serious these things are. But sounds like your story was pretty dang serious. I hope to get your number, and then you can have 2 really loyal people in your life. You can call me anytime. And I'd answer. And I'll probably call you too in like 3 years and be like, hey, you remember this? How you doing? You remember when nobody showed up to your graduation and I was there to give you a hug?
I'm not a big hugging person. Yes, we get that.
Yeah, but if I spend $150 on a hotel room and I come to your graduation tomorrow, you damn well would be giving me a hug. Don't even play games.
I'll give you a handshake.
A firm handshake.
Yep.
So, like, can I go to the bathroom again or no?
Yeah, you can go to the bathroom.
No, you have to stay in that suit.
I'm trying to think of something to say while you're gone. I guess I could keep talking to Minnow, but I feel like the more I talk to Minnow, the more he speaks, and the more he speaks, the more I'm going to have my arm hanging out in front of a green screen with my hand moving to your... There's got to be another way. I think I'll do a sock puppet.
Go for it.
Well, a sock puppet would be so much easier. I mean, have you ever tried to move to somebody's mouth doing this?
Yeah, because your thumb can't go that fast.
Well, because David was flushing the toilet, none of that will be heard. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But the purpose of this, and I'll oh. That means that the camera needs to be restarted. So, what do you think? What do you think about this whole my testimony thing? That would you recommend this to a friend?
You talking to me?
No, I'm really just talking to myself.
I was wondering the same thing.
In all honesty. I need to reset this, I think.
Do it.
Okay. You kind of seem like a loser now.
Yeah, been that way for a while now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just... you know, whenever you talk to some, like, talk to a girl, and she's like, yeah, I'm in school, like, I'm studying communications, and then, like, she's this other girl at the party, and you go up to her, and then you're like, hey, what do you do? And then they're like, oh, I just got back from Africa, and my parents started a church out there, and I'm just here for my friend's graduation. He's had a pretty rough life,
Where are you going with this?
Like, that girl is a whole lot more
I'm the
interesting.
Communications.
Huh?
I'm the
Yeah, you're
girl. And Meadow's the African.
Minnow is the one that has the family in Africa who's, he's ministering to. You understand that, like, that this is what I kind of believe, is that the crazier your story is before meeting Christ, the crazier your story gets after. And I say that because you can read about it.
Yeah.
Paul.
True.
Minnow, did you know there's a guy in the Bible that persecuted people who believed in Jesus Christ, and then, like, he turned into, like, the biggest,
Follower?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the most... I got a hard time believing, like, the whole crucifixion thing and everything, and that's what I ask whenever I go to communion, is give me imagery of this. Give me, like, better understanding of that.
Right.
But, like, the next thing after God grants me that vision to, like, the crucifixion and like fully, I don't believe I'll ever fully end, but then the next question at communion will probably be like, you know, who the heck was this Paul guy?
Dude.
Like, and how can I be like him? Or how can I make Minnow be like Paul? Because whenever I hear people's stories, I don't know. I see like the what could be.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Minnow, like, man, if God got a hold of him, he'd be a freaking world changer. He's naturally an incredible leader, and I've told him this before, but like, he's one of the most creative people I know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very influential, too. And man, like, what he could do with the kingdom of God would be amazing and powerful. But like, I think too, like, you don't have to have a crazy past, but it does seem like a lot of times that God will use people that have crazy histories to show how amazing his grace is. Like Paul said, I was the worst of sinners. And God saved me to show how amazing his grace was. That even the worst of sinners, someone that would literally have Christians beheaded and murdered, could get saved, and this is what God can do with them. But at the same time, like, you could just have the average Joe that hasn't had a crazy life. It, like, God feeds hunger too.
Mm-hmm.
You get someone that's just ravenous about Jesus and wants him more than anything, and all of a sudden, the anointing of God will be upon them, and they'll be freaking changing the world for God.
Well, I think that if you've gone through these kind of things, if you've lived in the valley of the shadows of darkness, is that how Solomon said it?
David.
No, it was Solomon.
Psalms 23.
Yeah,
No, it's David, bro.
Solomon. Oh yeah, you're right. It says up David.
Valley of the shadow of death. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, if you're sleeping down there and like eating and hanging out,
Yeah.
and then you get the light, like you're able to go into that.
It's true.
And it says
true.
to 1 Corinthians 9:22. To the weak I became weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some.
Mm.
I've been like dwelling in that. You taking selfies?
No,
You know you're not that cute, right?
I know.
Okay.
I'm fucking adorable.
See what I did there? I that was to the weak I became weak. I tried to get on his level of weakness.
Okay. In order that you may save some.
Yeah. That was not an example of that verse, by the way. That was like I don't know. Minnow, how would you disciple if you say you experienced what David experienced, and then what would be the first thing you would do?
What?
I said, what would be the first thing that you would do if like you were saved, like David had been saved?
I don't know.
It's a good question.
Good answer.
I don't have an answer. You can't like predict something like that.
Why not?
Because it's not just a thought that you have, like, oh, if my life was to fucking spin out of control and then fucking land me back on my feet. You don't have, like, an exact answer like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking do this. Like, no, not many people are very planned for shit like that. And I can say I'm not one of them. I take life day by day, and I realized, like, alright, that's what I gotta fucking do. Get it done, and then the day's over.
Alright, well, I'll call you in 3 years, and maybe you'll have a different answer. Maybe in 3 years I'll be still doing this, and then we'll sit down and I'll talk to you. Actually, at one point in my life, I would like to sit down with you, whether or not. I think that everybody has a testimony. I think everybody has I see testimonies differently than I think other Christians see a testimony as. Mm. I think that it's not necessarily when you met God. I think it's like when you, just your life. Your testimony is your story.
Yeah.
It's interesting whenever you talked about when you knew that you had like, when people ask me, like, how do you... I had this question asked, actually, recently. I'm going to go speak in a classroom about filming and photography.
Okay.
And a gal at my church came up to me while I was running this camera live stream in the church, and she came up to me after the service. She was like, "Do you do this, like, for a living?" And I'm like, "Kinda." Like, the real answer would be, like, no. I do lawn care, and I take down Christmas lights.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what she was asking. I think she was just generally asking, like, is this something, like, you're passionate about? So I was like, yeah. She's like, I'd love for you to come speak to my kids, in this classroom. And then she asked me to send her, like, she's like, hey, can you send me an email basically saying how you're a Christian? Right? And I was like, first I was like, yeah, sure, totally, whatever, I'll do that. And so then I put it off one day, put it off another day. And then she contacted me again on Sunday, like, hey, are you still able to do this? And I'm like, yeah. And then she told me again, send me an email. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, do you want me to tell you that I write Proverbs every morning? Like, do you want me to tell you that I read 3 to 4 chapters every single night? Do you want me to tell you that, like, whenever I think about my ex-girlfriend, I pray and ask God to help me forgive her, forgive me of my sins that I'd committed with her. I didn't want to just, like, have that one-sided, because
right,
any relationship that ends, it's usually twofold. Did you want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you that, like, on Saturday, this past Saturday, I spent 6 hours serving at a homeless shelter? You want me to tell you that I'm a part of, like, 3 different Bible studies, one of which that I put together? And so I'm, like, going through all of this crap and just, like, putting it into email format. And, like, by the end of it, I was just, like, looking at it and was like, this doesn't mean shit. Like, what does any of this have to do with whether or not I'm a Christian? Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, it has everything to do with, are you seeking? Are you searching? Are you, I think the verse is, if you seek it like silver, and search for it as though it's hidden treasure, then you will find the glory of God, or something along those lines. It's like Proverbs 23 something. So now I've said it on camera, and a piece of me is like, well, these people are going to hear that, and they're going to think, like, this guy's a really Christian kind of guy. But, like, it doesn't mean shit as far as, like, now that teacher's going to watch this whole my testimony. She's gonna did he say how many cuss words and how many... But, like, at least I wrapped it up with all of that glory, right? Like... You know what I mean, Minnow?
Hope.
You say hope?
No.
You say nope?
No.
Okay. So, whenever you tell me your story and, like you described it as, like, the moment that you started to seek, you sought after it like it was silver. Like, if it was hidden treasure that you hadn't found.
Exactly what it was like.
that's similar to my testimony, is that's what I did when I moved out to my grandfather's. I opened up the Bible and just started reading, and then I got the message. I'd mess with slander.
Spit it out.
I talked down upon the message format.
Translation. The message.
Yeah. But that was the first that I read through the whole entire New Testament.
Yeah.
And like,
it's like story
religiously, just like, I was a gopher. I was the guy that you'd be like, Sam, go get me a wrench or whatever, and I'd be like sitting on like a 5-gallon bucket, just like reading the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, okay, and then like I'd go and grab it, and then go back to sitting down and just like read, and just like absolutely like.
It was like the best thing you ever read in your life.
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, it probably was the best thing. So, yeah.
And like, and even with what you're saying, like, it's not just a one-time thing. Like, right now, I'm still searching for God like hidden treasure.
Oh yeah. I see. That's the thing is that somebody asked me, why is it that you're a Christian? I think at one of our groups, and I was just like, because it's the most challenging thing that I've ever experienced. And I think that's wholeheartedly my answer. And I think it's different for every single person, but like, it is the biggest challenge to be a Christian. Like, to say, these things I will not do. These things I will do. And I will not only do these things for someone greater than me, I will do them with a damn smile on my face. Joyfully. I mean, it says in James, count it all joy, the trials.
Count it all joy.
That you face.
That's a hard one.
It's like, come on. But the whole reason I started doing this, my testimony thing, is to like partly share my testimony as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been doing a good job of it. So.
Go on.
No. That's good. That's good enough. Like, that was, they now know that I worked for my grandfather, and that's when I started diving into the Word. He just passed away too. That was crazy.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah.
I really like that though. What you said, like, I like your answer. What makes you a Christian? And that's it, man. It's realizing, like, there's this person that is worth everything, and I have to know him. I have to find him.
I get to know him.
Yeah, you get to know him, but like, at least for me, there's like this never-ending desire in me that I have to, like, there's this treasure box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've opened it, and I've taken some pieces of treasure out, but the box is endless, and the treasure is endless.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have to know this treasure.
See, for me, it's like I haven't even found that box, but
you know it's out there.
yeah, and I'm just so.
There's a verse in the Bible that I've actually been thinking about a lot recently, and it says, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found, and out of his great joy, he put the treasure back, went away, sold all that he had, so that he could buy the field and have the treasure.
Oh yeah. Watch your damn language. Watch your damn language, boy. That's sir to you. I love being in here.
Welcome to the jungle.
I don't know if I could serve a nation like that. Getting back in the political. How long have we been doing this? Do you know what time we started?
Probably like an hour or something. I don't know.
You know, it would suck if this just wasn't recording. Which it is.
What are we at?
Well, I want to see partly if the check mic. Yeah, like we're good. No, we're fine. Like everything's rolling. Everything is rolling. Like David, back whenever he was Minnow's age.
No, it was before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. When was it that you discovered Jesus?
I know it was 19.
19?
Yep. So I was in Colorado. I was 18. I got back.
When did you come to Kansas City?
Bro. I want to say it was like 2014.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe 15.
Well, I actually have pictures.
That picture of me naked, bro.
Can I post that? Can I have this on?
That's the cover photo for the podcast. My testimony.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how many people that would just be total clickbait? I don't know. I don't want to spend my time searching through this phone finding. Oh, here it is. It would have been December 30th, 2014. Yeah, that was my birthday.
Yeah, so. There she is, dude. You look like a cloud, bro. Look at that hair.
Who was that again?
Yeah, you loved one thing, didn't you?
It was cool. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not really like about like the like. I don't know, just the general like. The idea of having like 1,000 people in one room and their hands up, like it's strange for me. Like when I worship, I don't really like put my hands out. But, like the most that I get intimate as far as like is like dancing, like you saw. I love to just like dance to it. Like they played a song in our church, last song, and one of the guys, the youth leader, jumped on the little shaker.
Yeah.
And then he also had like a
Cajon.
What is it called?
A cajon.
Is that the box?
Yeah.
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 And so he was kind of like doing it, and he was grooving on it, and I was just like, yeah, like that's it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's it. But like contemporary Christian music just doesn't really like move me. It doesn't like that song I showed you. Oh, that's that whole album. It's just like it's just all remixes of this one band. Dude, I listened to that the whole entire drive down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. So.
You're very, very musically minded too. Like the pop Christian, it's kind of just like pop music, you know what I mean? The contemporary Christian music.
Don't downplay it. Don't you dare downplay my music to
No,
pop.
I'm not talking to yours. I'm talking about like the radio music. It's just like pop music, but it's like 4 or 6 chords total. And I mean, I some of those Christian songs are amazing, like, but a lot of it's
Don't be downplaying my music, man. It ain't pop. It's synthwave.
I'm not talking about your music.
Okay.
Gosh, get it through your thick head. That's what my roommate always says.
This roommate?
Yeah. It's like talking to his girlfriend. Get it through your thick skull.
Thick fucking head. Motherfuckers.
Alright, that's enough out of you. Shut up and go to sleep.
I can't fall asleep.
Clearly.
You fuckers are fucking talking about random shit.
He is totally from New York. I really do have a friend from New York. He doesn't talk to me anymore, but...
So, do we got any more, like, questions, topics you wanted to throw in there?
Sure, yeah. I mean, like, we hit the drugs, sex, pornography. Is that something that you struggled with?
Yeah, I did.
I feel like I feel like every single guy struggles with that.
Don't anymore?
Like, after that moment?
No, after the moment I did.
Yeah.
I did. But like maybe 2 months in, I was so sick of. Actually, no, I never watched porn again, but I still had pornographic images coming in my mind, and I was like,
Unintended.
don't get it. Pornographic images coming. Oh, got it. And I was like, God, like I know.
Is that crude language? Would Paul consider that crude language?
What?
There's a verse that says, "Don't speak crudely," and
Unwholesome talk,
yeah. But that was a pun.
I didn't even pick up on it. He's dirty mind.
David, am I going to heaven?
I think so.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just so sick of it. I'm like, God, I know this isn't right.
Can you go to heaven if you're addicted to pornography?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You go to heaven for, following Jesus. Like there's sin in people's lives that people have strongholds, and I believe that Jesus can deliver you from every single sin. Some people don't get delivered or don't necessarily pursue that deliverance with as much passion as they should or whatever. They don't get delivered, but it doesn't mean that they wouldn't go to heaven. But anyway, yeah, I was just crying out to God, like, God, please take this away. Please take this away. And I was on my knees. This was crazy. And all these pornographic images were coming in my mind, and I'm begging God. Like, it was like probably the 5th night on my knees, just praying, asking God. And all of a sudden, my mind went black, and I saw Jesus in the center of my mind. And he was sitting cross-legged, and he had this huge hammer in his hand. And the pornographic pictures came into my mind, and he would go and smash the picture. And then they would come faster. And he would get them faster. I'm like, there's no way he'd be able to get them. And they're coming like 1,000 miles per hour from every angle. And Jesus kept smashing these pictures.
See, I want an animator now. Do you know any animators, Minnow? I need an animator
To make that.
that can make that happen. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus in like this dark like room, and then like just.
I can imagine it perfectly. But yeah, ever since then, I haven't struggled with that.
Yeah.
I've been tempted like sexually and with lust, but like never.
Do you kiss
with...
your girlfriend?
I don't right now.
Why not?
Well, when we started dating, we agreed that we weren't going to kiss till we were married.
Yeah.
And then a year in, we kissed.
Okay.
And pretty much.
The passion.
And pretty much like kissed for a year.
Yeah.
And right now it's been like a few months, and we decided that we weren't going to again for.
Was that your decision or her decision?
Which one?
To not kiss.
The first time?
No, it was the second time. To not kiss, not to kiss.
The second.
Because I know it was your decision to kiss her.
No, actually, it was.
She kissed
you? It was very mutual.
Fair enough. But who made the decision to stop kissing?
I think that was more her. Yeah, I think it was her.
Really?
Yeah.
And you followed that?
Absolutely. That's so important in relationships, is to really like respect each other's boundaries.
Isn't it also important that the man lead the woman?
In some things, but it doesn't need to be in everything.
But in physical contact, wouldn't that be like your role to say, we shouldn't kiss?
Ideally, yeah. It would have been awesome if I had that willpower.
Yeah.
But like, and even still today, like, I find myself having a lot more desire towards her. And I tell her, I'm like, baby, like, I'm struggling here. Like,
I'm only asking you these questions because my girlfriend did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then like 2 months later, she broke up with me. So.
What do you mean she did the same thing? Like she said.
She said like we shouldn't kiss anymore. And then broke up with me. And in fact, the girlfriend before that did the same thing with me.
You should just not start with kissing.
Well, no, it said I don't want to kiss, or I don't think we should kiss anymore. And I said, okay. And then, with the first girl, like 2-3 weeks later, she just like broke up with me.
It probably wasn't because of that though.
Yeah.
But.
I'm I just don't want you to get your heart wrecked.
Oh, I won't. Trust me. This girl, me and her are freaking radically in love with each other.
Sure.
But
whatever you say.
it's for real, bro. I knew from day one I was gonna marry her. Actually, before day one.
Why? How come you haven't asked her then yet?
Because I would have married her like 2 years ago, but I felt like God said to wait.
Yeah.
And we both felt that. So.
Has she ever hurt you?
Yeah. She has.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Are you a romantic?
I think so. Yeah.
What kind of dates did you take her on? Give me the most ridiculous one. Ridiculous date you took her on.
Let me think. Cemetery. One of our first dates, I took her to a cemetery. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we're getting this. Yeah, I'm gonna restart it. There it is.
I think. Honestly, like, I don't think I've taken her out.
Did you guys go and
far.
eat at a cemetery or what?
No, it was just one of the first times we were driving around and we just went to a cemetery. I don't know. We write letters to each other. It's probably one of the more romantic things we do.
Yeah. I wrote to both my... How many girlfriends have you had?
Just one since I've been Christian.
Really?
She's the only one, yeah.
But before you were a Christian, how many... Did you have any committed relationships?
One.
Yeah?
One.
Who was that?
Mary. Her name was Mary. Yeah, she was like my...
For those of you listening who haven't read the Bible, that's funny because Jesus' mom's... Minnow, did you know that? Huh?
What?
Jesus' mom's name?
Was Mary?
Yeah. It was Mary.
Yeah.
Pretty sure everybody knows that.
Snaps for Minnow. He's smiling. I think it's because he's taking a selfie, but...
No.
Because what?
You guys are retarded.
I'm glad I met you. Said no one ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that did cut him deep.
That's what all the girls say.
Minnow, you're such a loser. Is he watching Snapchats? Can you put headphones in, please? Oh, he's happy. You can.
No, this video's funny as fuck.
Oh, he's happy. We should just, for the thumbnail, I should just have a picture of Minnow. Or like Photoshop his face over yours. Mary was the only committed relationship. So you've only had... That's funny. Me too. I've had 2 committed relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Mary, I was dating, and then I broke up with her when I went to Colorado.
Really?
Broke up, yeah.
How long did you date her?
5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You love her?
Yeah. I don't know if I, like, now what I consider love, but back then I would say that I loved her. Mm-hmm. Like, she was the girl of my dreams. Like, when I was in high school, I always wanted to get with her. And then senior year, she kissed me, and it was all over. Like, I was like, and we dated, and she was my best friend that was a girl. And it was just like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun together. And, yeah, I could say that I wish I didn't break up with her. I wish I didn't do that. I just kind of was like a player in high school. And so I thought, like, oh, I'm going to meet all these girls in Colorado. Might as well break up with her.
And then you got there and realized that there was only like 10 girls in the whole school.
Yeah. I mean, I still, like, was with a couple girls, but yeah, Mary she was awesome. She was a really cool chick. And then, like, when I went back home, she didn't really want to be together, so it sucked for me at the time. But now, my girlfriend now, she's like, if you ever read the freaking Proverbs 31, man, this girl's like...
Oh, yeah.
She's lit. She's amazing. I can't
find you a guy that goes to Proverbs 31 when he describes you.
Yeah.
You hear that? Not talking to you, Minnow. Later, though, we'll have a discussion. By later, I mean, like, how you doing? He's smiling. He's got such a pretty smile. Like, oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at him. He's now blushing. Ooh, boy.
I wish I could see him, like, if he's actually smiling or you just think he's...
Nice.
Or if it's like a smile like, I hate this kid, or if it's a smile like...
No, he's happy. He's definitely happy. I'm just trying to think of what I can fill this with during the video.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
That was about to, like, get up, throw your equipment.
Get out.
Throw it into the fucking hallway. Like, whoever wants this shit, it's good to go.
No, I think the video I'm going to use for whenever I say that, he was smiling. Like, look at him smiling. I'm going to get that, what's that one movie where the kids go and find that treasure and there's that, like, deformed face guy that, like...
The fucking Goonies.
Goonies, yeah. That will be the video clip that is in there with whenever I'm like, he's smiling, look at him, he's smiling. The clip from the Goonies.
What do we always say to Conkling?
Hey, you guys.
That's it.
Dude, my nose has been too runny lately. So Mary, and then current girlfriend. Okay.
Sarah, is her name.
Sarah is her name, and what is your favorite verse? What's your favorite story? I think favorite verse is silly. I don't think that anybody really has like a.
My favorite
Go
verse
ahead.
changes all the time. I can't ever stick on one because one will be ministering to me one week, and that will be my favorite verse.
Yeah.
Story.
I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah. Like right now, that's not my favorite verse.
Right now, that's like 90% of American Christians' favorite verse.
Which is a great verse to have. It really is.
I'm actually mocking every single one of them.
I like
I shouldn't do that. I mock Christians. You ever mock Christians?
Maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, probably like some fake stuff or whatever. I was gonna get this one verse tattooed on me. It's Galatians 1:10. It says that I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of Christ unto salvation for those who believe.
See, I would get a tattoo of a verse on me if I was trying to mock Christians.
Really?
I think that tattooing verses on you is so lame.
Hey, everybody's got different things. I don't think so.
I don't really think so either. I think I was just kind of, I don't know.
That actually might not even be Galatians 1:10. That's close.
Wow. Can we... He's like talking about how like, yeah, sometimes I mock fake Christians, like Galatians 1:10.
Romans.
Romans? You said
wait.
Galatians.
Oh wait, maybe it's Galatians. See?
1:10?
Yeah.
Well, it would be
Galatians or Romans?
Romans 1:10. Always in my prayers asking that somehow if I... Uh-oh.
Oh, bitch.
It's Galatians. I think. It's Galatians.
He's so New Yorkish. He's everything that I imagine New York people to be like.
Really?
No, not really. I guess to some degree, whenever I hang out with people that I haven't seen in like 10 years, I resort back to that person that I once was. Do you do that?
Not really.
Like,
Not really.
I'm waiting for the toilet to finish flushing.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
As in like, I get really nostalgic with people and like reminisce, and then like it kind of takes me back to that time that I was with them. Because I remember everything that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
See, I don't remember
very
anything.
clearly.
I don't know if it's all the drugs or what, but like, my freaking memory sucks.
Like, I remember staying up.
Drugs.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Minnow, did you do drugs?
Yeah.
But I remember staying up with you all night long. We were supposed to be studying.
We're freaking on Adderall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be studying, but instead you were playing piano and I was learning a John Mayer song.
I was playing piano.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yep.
I thought I'd playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. I remember a lot. I remember the time that we went to, and I have a picture of it if you want to get sent back to that time. Because these are the things that
You
come
do have more pictures.
Yeah, I've got some more.
Send me them all, please. I love to recollect.
Honestly, I don't know where this one went. It should be. Oh, no, it was on my Facebook. But when you, me, and...
You know that picture of me naked? I think I put that as my Facebook picture, didn't I?
Probably.
On my other account.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Bloopity bloop.
What's that?
That was your name on Facebook.
It was?
It was bloopity bloop.
What the heck, bro?
Yeah, for like a year. 2 years. What do you mean? What do you mean? That was your name on Facebook, was bloopity bloop.
I don't remember that at all. I have no recollection of that.
Well, at least you remember Galatians 1:10, or maybe it's Romans 1:10. At least you remember that.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't know what else. I think this is where we close. Usually the close is we talk until it gets really old, or Minnow steps into the frame.
Fuck no.
It gets interesting. Why don't you get in the frame? Nobody's gonna see this. Get over here. Bring your rolly chair over. He's making a fort right now. Oh my gosh.
Never done this. I always figure out like, because a lot of people do it, and like I was like, that might not be that bad of an idea. It's nice and dark.
I'm trying to think of my favorite story in the Bible.
My favorite story, while you're thinking of your favorite story, has got to be, well, parable. Is the seed.
The farmer? The son?
No, not the mustard seed, but the seed that falls out and lands in either
To different
on
soils.
on the path, yeah,
That's a good one.
in the thorns,
It's a really good one.
or in the fertile. I think it's out of battery. No battery.
Uh-oh.
That's fine. The neat thing is that I bought this thing where it's a constant battery. But what's your favorite story? And hurry up because I want to leave. I'm tired.
Yeah. I understand.
I could continue talking to you the whole entire day, but
One that's the one.
I'm trying to be respectful to Minnow. Okay, I'll let you finish what you're saying.
One that's really been impactful for me is Matthew 25. It's a very intense chapter in the Bible, but it talks about the sheep and the goats.
Yeah.
And God separates the sheep and the goats. And he says to the sheep, you know, when I was cold,